Okay, and we are back with Faster Than Light. Let's go ahead and continue from where we left off. We are piloting the Kestrel. Now, in the last sector I picked up the halberd beam. It's a pretty good find. Just need to make sure we make the most of it in this sector. We're at sector 4 now. Things will hopefully start to pick up now and get more difficult. So, let's go forward. Let's see. With only one scrap, we're not particularly interested in searching for a store. So our current plan is to look at a bunch of beacons and open up as many beacons as possible and just go to them. So that's why I'm going here, get the ones earlier, and then move towards the right, towards the exit. Against an enemy ship, pretty normal. So we see what crew they have, nothing particularly problematic. They're going to try to board us, which is fine. Comes into Shield's room, we'll send you to go find them. Their weapons aren't particularly scary. Crap. I guess it worked out. I forgot to sequence my weapons together. I've been a little bit out of this. They have a fire in their weapons room. That's a problem for them. This should be it. Need to heal. So, moving forward, there are a couple of things we still want. Our weapons should be good for the foreseeable future, but what we want to do is we want to get enough power to make sure we can run our engines and all of our other things at the same time. Otherwise, this cloaking isn't going to be as helpful as it could be. Ideally, you'd want maximum dodge chance in order to ensure that you don't get hit. You can do that by combining cloaking with level 4 engines and a fully trained engines person and a fully trained pilot. Now, my pilot and engines aren't fully trained, and I can't power my engines fully while also keeping other stuff powered. But I can always depower my oxygen if it comes to it. There's no problem with going here as opposed to there, so that's where I'll go. The civilian ship gives us a chance for a double reward, which is nice. The ion blast and the pike beam can't hurt us through 2 shields. The missile, on the other hand, could be an issue if I let it fire. I did not let it fire, so we should be good. They have quite a bit of evasion and 3 shields. Combined, that could be problematic. Let's try to get their evasion down and see if this works. Such luck. Guess it's pretty fortunate that I managed to get and now he's back on the engines, which increases their evasion. This isn't going very well, is it? Well, I still have cloaking for the missile. I'm gonna risk it, just make sure I dodge it. Based on the amount of time it took to charge that missile, it's probably a, I think that was a breach missile. Although I'll admit, I don't know them off the top. I don't recognize them off the top of my head. A fire is good. That'll make it take longer for them to get their shielding up. And it also means that it pulled the pilot away from piloting, which means that these shots are going to be far more accurate. Perfectly accurate. Apparently they only have level 1 piloting. So they have a breach missile, not a hull missile, which means that I can always dodge this missile, regardless. So now they have no evasion. Even if they repair their piloting, no evasion. Which means this volley will kill them. That's an easy, successful fight. And we got a double reward. That's fantastic. Let's power up our oxygen before we forget. So, things we want moving forward. We want to get our weapon system up so that we can start using the halberd beam. In fact, there is a store here. I was considering upgrading my weapon system by 1, so if I needed to, I could depower the Burst Laser Mark 1 and power up the halberd beam. But that doesn't seem to be necessary. Since there's a store, I'd like to check that out before I go forward. Things we want from the store include hacking, so that we can ensure that they don't have shields, or ensure that our lasers hit. Mind control and drone control would both be pretty decent. Mind control improving our accuracy by mind controlling the pilot, or improving our odds of getting crew kills, while drone control would make us have an even easier time of dealing with missiles, especially faster missiles. Before we go to the store, it's always best to try and get as much scrap as you can before. So my plan is to 1, 2, 3, 4. I can hit all 3 of these before hitting the store, so that's what I'm going to do. So they have a flak 1. That's annoying. I might have to cloak that attack. Seems like it went down, which is very useful. There's no one in piloting, so I'm going to target their shields. Couldn't quite get that done before we couldn't get that ship down before the solar flare occurred. I want to definitely get these fires put out as fast as possible. And it's annoying that both fires occurred in an awkward spot that wasn't near an airlock. I'm going to jump before that. For some reason, depowered my engines. Anyways, we are jumping, and we're going to land. Okay, the civilian ship. I know why we're depowered. It's because I moved what's his face? The Zoltan out of the Americans, that's why. So, this is a Zoltan shield. Takes a bunch of shots to take down before I can actually get through. It's a small bomb. I actually haven't really been paying attention to their weapons, but they don't seem particularly threatening. Just dodged him out of the room, try and avoid him taking damage. Let's get their shields offline. Our shields were targeted. Not a big deal. Let's go. Avoid that hassle. Iron Blast Mark II. So, well, there are worse weapons to encounter than the Iron Blast Mark II. It sells for 30 scrap, which is pretty nice. But there is a small problem with it. It doesn't deal any damage. That's pretty much the same problem with every single ion weapon, is that it doesn't deal damage. You might say, that's not a problem. It turns out... Oops. I was saying, it turns out you want to make sure that you're making the most of your weapon slots here. Now, when lots of ships start out with ion blasts, but they don't deal any hull damage. They might keep systems offline, but ultimately, the longer a fight goes on, the more likely you are to take damage. So ending it quickly and keeping their weapons down in a permanent state is the best way to avoid taking damage. That's why I'm not a fan of iron weapons. Except for memes. They're good for memes. The Iron Blast Mark II, on the other hand, is one of the better iron weapons due to its high rate of fire and its high cost, meaning you can sell it for a lot. Let's see what we're dealing with here. A dual laser, a basic laser, and a heavy laser. Lots of lasers. I might want to cloak this just to avoid getting hit. They also have 3 shields, so I might want to try targeting their shields, get those down before I start. Yeah, fires are nice. It won't damage the rocks, but it will slow them down as far as getting it back online. I'm being careful because I'm not targeting their weapons. I probably should be, in retrospect, but I'm not. Thankfully, I have cloaking to fall back on in case their weapons become sufficiently synced and take down all of my shields. But that never happened. Interesting. Could have sworn that would have happened. I was like, that had to happen at some point. Well, next thing, we're going to go to this door. It'll force us to go to this beacon since this one will be overtaken in the next jump. But that's not a problem. Alright. This ship has mind control and drone control. It also has a couple of drones. So, first things first, sell the Iron Blast Mark II. And let's think. We could get drone control, or we could get mind control. Both of those are decent options. I'm not sure exactly which one is better. This is better defensively, defending against missiles, while mind control is better offensively and also defending against borders. I don't think I'm particularly weak to borders. Humans are alright, but NGs and Zoltans are vulnerable. But that's what I have Robert Smith for. He's going to bite people, or use scythes, or spit on them, I don't know. One thing I do want to do is get the halberd beam online. I feel like at this store I don't have a whole bunch of options, so I want to try and see what it'll take to get the halberd beam online. So it'll take 50 plus 75 plus 90 if I wanted to power the halberd beam and the current weapons I have right now. But just to power the halberd beam, I only need to spend 50 scrap. So I'm going to do that. An additional 75. That'll leave me with 76 left. It's not terrible, but I don't really need that extra point right now. I'd much rather benefit from more points in my reactor. Alright, so back to the store. I'm going to go with mind control. Drone control is the safer option. It prevents you from losing immediately to missiles, but I'm not a fan. I don't like my people getting mind control, and mind controlling your own people to stop it is one of the best defenses against that. So I'm going to get a point of power for it, and we're good. Now, one thing we can do now is we can mind control people to improve our accuracy, because once we mind control the pilot, they are no longer manning their systems, and all of my shots will hit, assuming they only have level 1 piloting. This can work, and it's not a bad strategy. We'll see how it goes. I can always swap out which weapon is currently active. Isn't it? So, just as a heads up, yep, you know what? Not right now. Maybe another time. Alright, so people there. Let's get everyone in here. Not a fan of this event at all. I could mind control someone actually, but that'll make people run off into weird directions. We'll just go forward. Let's see. Could go through here. But I like going through this path better. One benefit is that if I feel like I want to dive, I have the option to go behind here, and all 3 of these jumps are within range of the exit. This one is not, so if I wanted to dive, I sort of go through here. It's about the same, but I'm gonna go up top first. Jumping when I have people on my ship is not my preferred thing to do. In fact, let's do this. Let's get you to the med bay and power the med bay. Alright, so we're up against a rock ship, not a big deal. We only have 2 shields, so I'm going to stick with the Burst Laser Mark II and the Halberd Beam. Rocks. Oh. Double what? Leto or Artemis missiles? That's annoying. Let's hope they don't hit. Okay, they both missed. Good, good. Let's get these people punched. Oh, crap. So I passed my Zoltan through my shields. And that depowered my shields, which is lovely. That's annoying. So I could have shot my halberd beam there, but one thing that happened was, because of the way the asteroids hit, the asteroids actually landed their shields as the burst laser Mark II hit. Well, before the burst laser Mark II hit. And because of that, it caused the shields to regenerate right as the halberd beam was ready to fire. That meant that their shields would regenerate right as the shields were coming back up, and it would also mean that I wouldn't have as much success shooting. I took more damage than I probably should have here. I need to pay more attention. We're really out of it today. But I should be safe here. Let's get some people healed up. Alright. Let's ensure that everything gets powered up properly. And let's jump. You know, thinking about it, rather than go this rather linear path, I could still just go down this way. It'd probably give me just as many opportunities. Alright, ship. Looking at it, has a small bomb and a burst laser Mark III. That shouldn't be a problem. It does have 3 shields though, so that's problematic. It also has cloaking. Do I want to switch from the halberd to the burst laser Mark I? No. It's not a problem. You can go over and repair that. I'll end up cloaking this. I probably want their weapons down so I don't have to deal with this burst laser. weapons down. Small bomb hitting us isn't a problem. It doesn't deal any damage, and so long as the as long as my weapons stay up, it shouldn't be a problem. Of course, my weapons didn't stay up, so it became a problem. Let's use this for a bit. Actually, they cloaked, so it makes more sense to do it like this. Where is it? Oh, it's in piloting. Lovely. Let's mind control you. Reset the progress on your shields. Also, apparently brought everyone to that room. Right, because there's... Let's fire this now. I'm going to target piloting. They hit the annoying, but not a big deal. I didn't take any damage there, so it's pretty good. Alright, any upgrades we want to do? I can't think of anything that I need urgently. So let's go. I don't know how to do this. We have a new crew member. Lovely. You don't really have anywhere to be, though. Every station that can be manned is currently manned. So I will put you somewhere in the middle-ish. You can go in mind control. As far as people moving go, I'll put you indoors. The doors will be better. And having the NG able to move around and do stuff is more helpful. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Alright. So this is our new configuration. Let's go. There's a store down there. I'm not going to go to that store. So now we have a decision to make. If we want, we could dive. Go here, and then there, and then there, and then go to the exit. With cloaking and level 4 engines, that shouldn't be a problem as far as capability. It'll also give it, otherwise we'll essentially just miss out on these 3 jumps, and I don't want to do that. That's a big loss. Now one thing I'm going to do is, rather than take this path, go here, here, and here, I'm going to go through the exit. I'm going to go to this point, then here, then here. The reason I'm doing that is because the exit beacon is a guaranteed something. It's guaranteed not to be a dud. So I know that if I go to the exit, I'll encounter someone or something. It might just be like an exchange or refueling platform, but I'm guaranteed some sort of encounter, as long as it's not in a nebula. Alright, let's go. Alright, and it's just trading fuel for scrap. We could use a little bit of fuel, so let's do that. It's cheaper to get fuel from these exchanges than it is to just get fuel normally. So it's always a good idea to take those opportunities when you get them. Alright. Dead jump. Not really turning out how I wanted it. Let's see what kind of missile they have. Oh, you're coming. Onto my ship? So he teleports back. What a weird weapon setup. They have an ion blast and a missile. I'm assuming this is Hermes. It looks like it's getting ready to fire. Let's go ahead and fire our weapons. So now we mind control the pilot. Now we laser their ship. This seems like a good swipe. They're giving us a pike beam and some scrap. I don't think this is particularly good. The pike beam isn't a bad weapon, but I could use more scrap. Oh, this isn't a bad offer, and the pike beam sells for a lot, so this should be fine to take. Interesting. They don't take damage if they stand in... Oh no, that's a rock. Rocks never take damage from fire. Although I'm surprised that our mind control extended past them surrendering. So let's see. Let's, for this, power up the Burst Laser Mark 1 and the Burst Laser Mark 2. Let's see. We can upgrade our engines and upgrade our power bar. That way we can more consistently evade the rebels here. Alright, we're going to the exit. Alright, so the goal here is just to last until our FTL charges. They don't have a teleporter, which is fortunate for us. I want to see where that missile heads before I fire. Yeah, the missile missed, so I don't have to worry about it. Hopefully this... Yes, we dodged both the missile and the anti-ship barrage shot. That's pretty fortunate. No point in trying to kill the ship here. Okay, so we encountered some technical difficulties. The power went out, and thankfully most of the recording went through, but the final fight against the flagship did not. Luckily for me, it's going to my game saved right before that happened, so that's where we're going to start. And here we go. So my FTL managed to charge all the way in the last one, and I didn't take a single point of damage, which was pretty fortunate for me. Let's hope that we can also get that here. So like before, I'm not dodging the missile yet. I want to see where it hits first. Let's coming from down here. It seems like it's aimed towards my weapons. That's problematic, because if I lose my weapons, that puts me at a big risk. So I'm going to focus. This isn't good. Oh, we dodged the anti-ship barrage, and now we can go to the next sector. Alright. So, I was trying to say before that the Zoltan controlled. This has a higher chance of running into Zoltan ships, which isn't something I'm too keen on doing. This one has more auto scouts and more hostile encounters while having fewer shops. Basically, because of the risk of running into a Zoltan ship, I'd rather go to the rebel controlled, so that's where we're going. Alright, so this time we made it out after taking 1 point of damage. That was not as good as it was last time, but whatever. We get what we have. Thanks for joining me, and that's it for this one. See you later.